You know there's no crying in baseball. We learned that through a movie. This is going to be a fun show. Stick around. Well, good evening. It is great to have you on board. We are going to be without our rundown this evening because this is a program that has been previously recorded. And I'm glad that I've got some real running time here because my guest is just, well, she's brought a lot of souvenirs and a lot of storytelling along this evening. And I think you're just going to have a thrilling time over the course of this broadcast. I mentioned there's no crying in baseball because that famous Tom Hanks and et al. Movie, A League of Your Own. We're going to talk about a local superstar, home run hitter from East Greenwich originally, and introduce you to Wilma here coming up. First, though, Walt Buteau recently put together a package on her story, her baseball story, which is profound. Let me run it here, and then I'll introduce you to my guest tonight.
Two teams are working out, the Fort Wayne Daisies and the Racine Bells.
Blossoming among those daisies was a left-handed power hitter who, before joining the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League, broke a barrier as the first and only girl on East Greenwich High's team.
What I said before.
Back when Don Kachiri's dad recruited her to play.
Didn't see it.
Wilma Briggs had played hardball on boys' teams like the Frenchtown Farmers,
Have to sit on the bench.
but didn't like her lack of playing time in high school.
I was going to quit, and Coach Kachiri said, "Don't quit, my goodness." He said, "You know, 200 people come to these high school games. They're only coming because they want to see the girl play."
Joe Weaver hits the long ball.
Major League Baseball formed the Girls League after big league men left to serve in World War II.
An All-American pastime.
Briggs was a natural, and on the back of her baseball card, you can see she hit 25 long balls in 54. Take a few steps into her Wakefield home, and you know she was a pro. In a front room filled with mementos, from pictures of her Hall of Fame managers Jimmy Fox and Max Carey, to the trophy from her Rhode Island Heritage Hall of Fame induction, to a bobblehead with her number on the back. But her favorite memory involves a game with her parents in the stands.
And with them there, I hit a home run. That was kind of exciting.
Right after the league reduced the size of the hard ball down to the same one used in the majors, it folded, with Briggsy at the top of her game. Were you sad when the league ended?
Oh yeah, are you kidding? I was just coming into my own. I grew up on a baseball, and now they're really playing with a real baseball, and now the league is over. I'm only 23 years old.
But that didn't stop her playing days. There's a lot more playing that went on. Wilma Briggs is here. I'm honored to have you. Thanks for joining us. What a great story. I started with A League of Your Own because that is the movie that really kind of brought some attention to this. But I understand that that's not, well, let's put it this way. Is it controversial?
Well, the league supposedly shows the beginning of the league. However, in the beginning of the league, they did not use a baseball. They did not pitch overhand. And the base paths and pitching distance were extended as the league was in transition constantly. So the underhand pitching doesn't show up at all. And I never saw any underhand pitching because by the time I joined the league in 1948, all the pitching had changed from underhand to overhand and sidearm, just like the major leagues.
So you're not suggesting that Hollywood took some poetic license when they put that whole thing together, are you?
They took a few, yeah.
So, actually, well, since we started on that conversation, we might as well just show you. I mean, go through the balls.
Yeah.
Wilma's kind enough to bring her memorabilia off the shelf from her home, which is now in Wakefield. She was from East Greenwich originally. But it started with this.
Yeah, I don't have the dimensions for
softball.
The 12-inch, right.
Yeah.
And then they went to an 11.5, which I've never even seen one.
So the league, the All-American Girls Professional...
actually was called Softball League in 1943.
Okay, so this whole thing spans 43 to 54, so you know where we are. So it started in 43 with one of these.
Right.
And then they got a little smaller.
Well, then they went to an 11.5, and then they went to an 11-inch ball.
Okay, is that what this is?
That's what that is.
All right, it's just it's amazing how an inch, how it feels in your hand,
Yeah,
how different
really.
it feels in your hand. And then it went to
10 3/8.
Okay, this feels a little harder too for some reason.
Yeah, it is a little. Well, it's old too and dry.
Right, right.
So, but that's the ball that they were using when I joined the league in 1948.
All right, so how many home runs did you hit with this baby?
Oh, I don't know, 3 or 4 or something. I don't know. It's on my card.
Okay, but not a lot.
No, no.
You got hot with
home
the
runs
real
were- yeah.
baseballs
Right.
coming in.
Oh, yeah.
Then
Home
they went
runs-
to this one, which is almost where
Yeah.
we are.
And I led the league in home runs and only had 9.
Okay.
And the league leader at the time only had, for the duration of the league at that time, had only 12. So that gives you an idea of how difficult it was to hit a home run.
How deep were the fences?
Well, Fort Wayne, where I played for 6 years, was almost 300 feet. That's pretty good drive.
To the pole, or
Well, there was like a snow fence, a high fence. It was about 6 feet. And with
would it be 300 all the way around, 300 to center, or?
No, 300 down the line.
Okay, down the line.
Just under 300.
That's legitimate.
Down
I mean,
the
Yankee
line.
Stadium was 296
Yeah,
to
I
the right
know,
field
but
pole
try to
for a
hit
long
a ball
time.
like that.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
And then it went to this.
Yeah, when it went to that,
And this is the real size baseball.
Yeah.
Right here.
And the strange thing is, the size of the ball changed at the All-Star break, which was when it changed for this ball. It was July 11th, so the season was like, halfway over. And I had 3 home runs with a 10-inch ball and ended the season with 25. However, I played in a different ballpark. That the fences weren't as deep as they were in Fort Wayne, so that helped.
Did it make you see the ball to the bat better, the being a little
Well,
bit smaller?
I just grew up on a baseball. I had never played softball, so.
Okay, so you started. We'll take a break here. We'll come back and we'll talk about how Wilma started, because, she never saw this. So you got in here.
Yeah.
Okay, you got all these balls here. She didn't start here, but that's how the league did start. She started here, but her training was here because she played the real game when she was a kid. We'll be right back. Lots more. Stay with us. All right, we got that figured. I don't care what you see in black and white from years ago. It's always kind of fun, with all the high-tech video that we have today. It's just fun to see black and white. Period. Never mind. Oh, she slid, and this. We might play a little bit more of this a little bit later on, Wilma. But the chauvinism involved in some of the narration there. Oh, better to have the bruise on your leg versus wearing the long pants. Wilma Briggs is renowned for her success in women's professional baseball, and she's right here from East Greenwich and started as a high school player. We'll get back to some of the real story behind the story that you saw from a league of your own. But we left talking about all of these balls, and you came in case you just tuned in, this is what they really started with. The movie didn't show that, and Wilma didn't see these 2 balls at all. She came in at this level and started to hit home runs big time and finished with 25, and then they cut the league off after they'd gone to this ball. But you grew up playing with this baseball.
Right.
Tell us a story about how you got involved in East Greenwich High School and all that.
Well, my father had a baseball team, and because I worked in the barn with my brothers, milking cows and pitching hay and hoeing and shoveling and you know what. Anyway, my reward was I got to play. He played Sunday ball, and my reward was I got to play an inning at least, but at least one time at bat. And in 1947, the summer of 1947, I was playing in a twilight league with my brothers, the only girl in the league, and Coach Kachiri put the high school team in that league.
The governor's father.
The governor's father, and he wanted me to play first base for the high school team. I thought, hey, great.
Well, hey, he had seen you play.
Well, he had seen me play because that year he happened to be a pitcher for my father's team, and our principal was a catcher. So, but until then, he had not seen me play. And then when he saw me play on my father's team, it was like, oh, wow.
Okay.
So he invited me. The thought never occurred to me to go out for the team.
Okay.
Girls didn't go out for the boys' team. And when he encouraged me, I went out for the team, and I played all summer, and then went out for the team in the spring.
Well, it's interesting that Don Kacheri's dad, Coach Kacheri, brought you into this notion. So you weren't one of those rebel young teenage girls just fighting.
No.
You got a break.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's
I
interesting.
did,
Yeah. All right. So what happened then?
Well, we got a new coach, which I hadn't, planned on. And I didn't think this new coach really wanted me on the team. And, I was ready to quit. And,
How did you know?
Well,
Just the looks
I think
and the whole thing.
mainly because I got a lot more print from Dick Reynolds, the sports writer, than I did playing time. So, kind of.
Okay. So you were watching how
Yeah.
many innings you weren't on the field there.
So, but anyway, I stuck it out because Coach Kachiri wanted me to, and it's true. A lot of people only came to see the girl play, and fortunately, I did get in a few.
So I'm confused. The Coach Kacheri brought you on. Was he the athletic director? Or?
No, at that point he coached every sport,
Okay.
and then this new guy came on, who also taught a course.
Okay.
And
But he was still involved in the school.
oh yeah,
Coach
sure.
Kacheri was
He
still
still
involved in the school.
coached every other sport.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So when
yeah.
you said, you know what, I think I'm all done. He
Yeah.
said, please don't.
Yeah.
And he's the one who told you that people came out to see the high school team play
Yeah.
primarily because you were playing.
Right. Yeah.
Well, what was that like right away when you realized that people came out
Well,
to the high school game
I
to
was
see the girl
too
play?
naive to realize it. Believe me,
Really?
I was having fun playing. That's all.
How were the boys back then? to deal
Well,
with?
most of the boys on the East Greenwich High School team, not most, but a lot of the boys played on my father's Frenchtown Farmers team. So I knew them, they knew me, and I never had a problem with that. And I didn't use their shower room.
Right. Right.
And the girls didn't have one, so that was taken care of at home. But
A small price
and
to
I
pay
didn't
for
ride
the-
on and I didn't ride on the bus either. Because my father went to all the games, so I rode with him in
Just in case
Well,
somebody got the wrong
yeah,
idea,
whatever.
type of thing.
Right.
But other than that, did you feel like you were,
Oh yeah,
you were part
I-
of the whole deal?
Yeah, I think I would have been a lot more comfortable if Coach Kachiri had coached.
Okay.
And I think I would have had a lot more playing time. However, I never felt uncomfortable with any of the players. And I don't think any of the players ever felt uncomfortable with me.
All right, so you played through high school, then what happened?
Well, then it's graduation time, and there's going to be a tryout camp in New Jersey on June 12th. And I graduated in the evening, June 11th, so I had to decide, do I go to my graduation or go to the tryout camp? And I wanted my gold watch. They don't get gold watches anymore.
No.
And my parents wanted me to graduate with my class, so that was my decision. Well, that meant I missed the tryout. And Dick Reynolds, who was sports writer, he wrote all the sports for schools then, and he said, I will write to the president of the league and arrange a tryout for you, which he did. However, Max Carey was president of the league, and Max said, well, we don't want girls coming to the fields anymore for tryouts. We're not doing that. He said they get here, they don't make it, and then they say they don't have any money to get home, and they think we're going to let them stay, and we can't let them stay. And of course, Dick says, well, she's going to make it. And he says, yeah, I know, they're all going to make it.
Right.
And Dick says, no, she's really going to make it. And finally, he convinced him by telling him that my parents would drive me to the nearest city, which was Fort Wayne. And then, if I didn't make it, they would drive me home. Max said, okay, and that was the deal. So
So your parents drove you all the way out to Fort Wayne,
Yeah.
Indiana, and you did well.
yeah, I know, but after they told me I had made it, I was so petrified I didn't really want to stay.
Oh, really?
I'd never been away from home. Can you imagine? Senior in high school,
Right.
never been, only overnight in Connecticut a couple of times, but never been away from home. Now that's not the case anymore.
And your parents left you and said good luck?
Yeah, they left me and said good luck. Yeah.
That's incredible. So let's talk about what the realities were, if we can, when we come back with women's professional baseball. It was quite a time. Stay with us. Some of the memorabilia from Wilma Briggs' home, of course, her stint in the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League is chronicled. She's got literally a museum in her Wakefield home, and I'm just so pleased that she's come to us. Walt Buteau's package at the top of the show was a great synopsis of her, but we could talk to you all. I could talk to you all day, all night about this. This is fascinating. Steve, can we roll a little bit of that audio video from the archives, the newsreels? I mean, this is some of the stuff that they would run. Well, this is the league itself. Let's see.
That All-American pastime, baseball, brings out the All-American Girl Baseball League for spring training at Alexandria, Virginia. Two teams are working out, the Fort Wayne Daisies and the Racine Bells, getting in shape for an opening day doubleheader. Dottie Schroeder is quite confident that her hair won't get in her eyes. And keeping her eye on the ball is catcher Kate Von Drow. Okay, gals, play ball.
Okay, so that's just a piece that runs a little bit. A League of Your Own, the movie, is, you already told me at the beginning, took a little bit of poetic license in that they didn't show the real beginnings, and you measure them by the size of the ball.
They show the ending
They show the end.
as the beginning.
And the characters, the two sisters that are Gina Davis and the other gal,
Lori Petty.
Yeah, they're not real characters.
No.
It was a great story they put together for
Yeah, it
Hollywood,
was.
though.
There were the Weaver sisters. There were three, and the Roth sisters, identical twins, and there were sisters, the Cook sisters, and they, to my knowledge, they're the only sisters in the league. None was a battery.
Did the movie, though, at least portray life similar to the way you experienced
Well,
it?
it was exaggerated. I mean, the bucket of suds was exaggerated. And there wouldn't have been any bad language not heard by the chaperone,
Really?
or you would have been sent home.
Is that right?
Yeah, they were very strict. I mean, they weren't kidding around. They wanted the girls to look like girls and play like men.
Right.
You know, that wasn't always easy to do when you're all hot and sweaty and dirty, but
Right.
that was what they wanted. And, you know,
And how did you feel about that? I mean, did you?
Well, hey, I'll tell you, we all felt like this is an opportunity that none of us ever expected we'd have. We never expected to be paid to play.
And what was it, $60?
Yeah, I started at 60. Rookie pay was 55, but I wasn't going to stay.
Not per game.
No.
For the season.
No, $60 a week.
Oh, a week. Okay.
A week.
Well, that's better. That's not so bad.
Oh no, that was pretty
That's
good.
pretty good.
In 1948.
And how many weeks in the season back then?
Well, they started around Memorial Day and ended around Labor Day, but we played double headers on Sundays and holidays.
And you traveled and traveled?
Well, we only traveled around the Great Lakes. That's another exaggeration. There were two touring teams, and they traveled a lot of the United States.
And where did you live? I mean, did you stay?
We stayed in private homes when we were home, and we stayed in the best hotels when we were on the road.
What was the camaraderie like?
I thought Fort Wayne had great chemistry on our team, and which is important. And there were a lot of. I think most of the teams, most of the players were so excited about being there.
Yeah.
That they just pulled for one another all during the time.
Just a feeling of privilege the entire time, huh?
Yeah.
And how many seasons did you actually stay professional?
The league was 12 seasons.
But you didn't play all 12
I played
seasons.
7.
You played 7 years.
Yeah.
So as a little girl, 18 years of age, mom and dad bring you out there. Until you were 25, you're playing professional baseball.
Yeah, 17 to 23.
What was the year that your parents saw you hit the home run? Where did that happen?
1954 in South Bend.
That was the last season.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
Had they seen you at all prior to that?
Well, that's the only game, that series was the only one my mother had ever seen. But my father tried to come out at least once every year.
They must have been so proud.
Well, I guess so.
No? Yes?
Although, the first game my father ever saw me play, I knew he was there because I saw our car, and I recognized the license plate, Z7988. And I said, uh-oh, that's us.
Oh.
Because it's a good cribbage hand.
That's so funny.
So,
you brought some other stuff. I don't want to. You told me that this guy right here, Max Carey. I don't know if Stephen, whether you can. This is some of the stuff that you can see at Wilma's home. Not that you're going to crash the house. You say he was the best.
greatest teacher I ever had.
Because why?
Well, he taught me to hit to the opposite field. He taught me how to protect a runner when they were stealing. He taught me how to bluff bunts, how to drop a bunt, how to watch the pitcher closely to take a lead. I stole more bases with him as manager than I did with any other manager I had. So, I mean, he taught me how to catch a fly ball in position,
Your
position to
vernacular,
throw.
your baseball vernacular is as sophisticated as any baseball person I've ever been around. So this was the real thing, man.
Oh yeah, it was real.
This
yeah.
was as real as it goes. I could do this all night. You want to stay for 4 more shows? Because I'd like to do 4 more shows. Let me ask you this: looking at women's athletics today versus what you were dealing with, strike a comparison for me. What does your gut tell you?
You know, we grew up not having anything really to look forward to, where today's kids have everything to look forward to. You know, they have uniforms and banquets and scholarships, and we didn't have any of that. As a matter of fact, in high school, we didn't even have a league. And so it's very, very different. Their opportunities are so much greater today.
Can you actually go back to a place at Fort Wayne as if it was just yesterday? When you think about games and
Well,
and
I think
it's been a few years.
Well, there are several plays that stand out in my mind. 3 pitches. One was from the best pitcher in the league, Jean Fout, and I'm left-handed, so her curveball was coming into me, and I hit it to left field, and probably the longest ball I ever hit to left field. How the left fielder happened to be playing way out there in the giggle weeds to catch it, but she did, and I was amazed that she did.
But I guess what I'm asking you is, does it feel like yesterday?
Oh yeah, when I played softball, you know, I was like 15, 20 years older than anybody else. In college, I was 15 years older than the players on the softball team.
I wish I could tell you, we had time. You played after this, you played softball for how many years?
37.
Will you come back? Because I'm out of time. What's the moral of the story of your experience in 10 seconds?
It was the greatest experience of my life.
Well, it's been a great experience having you here. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Wilma Briggs, phenomenal. We'll be right back. If you've got an idea like Wilma Briggs, tell us. 228-1886. Leave us a message or email us at stateofmind@myritv.com. I've got my baseball card, and I'm checking out. What a great time I had with her. 83 years young. Good night.